All right, this is Clint from the doorway too. Hanging out with Henrik from I think the way it's said is Slodder, Slaughter. You tell me, I don't want to butcher it.
All right. It's Sludder.
Slodder, okay. Uh,
Uh,
well, my English tongue is not going to be able to do that too well, but I appreciate it. Um, but anyway, I really dig the new record, so I kind of wanted to talk to you guys, especially because I've only listened to this record and your self-titled. So that's the two records that I've heard so far. I haven't heard anything before that. So the conversation we're going to have is going to be about those two records, basically.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool, cool. All right. So why don't you tell me first of all how the band came to be, and so we can know a little bit about the band itself.
All right. Well, it's a kind of a cliche story. Um I used to live in Norway for a while. Then I moved back to Karlstad in Sweden, where we're from. Hanging out in a bar, noticed this guy with the same back patch as me, and been like, oh, at least one person has some decent taste in music. Started talking. Turns out he's a drummer. I had plans on starting like a sludge or doom project when I moved back, and we just hooked up and took it from there.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like the normal story of a lot of bands. So
Yeah.
no, very cool. So where did you get your love of sludge doom from? Because that's like it's not a typical listen kind of music. So
It started out with back in the day, like for me, it was I Hate God,
mhm.
Iron Monkey. Um, yeah, basically those two bands. It's my gateway drug.
Cool. No, awesome. So that's what I kind of want to talk about because there's some bands that I feel like you may know, you may not know. It's cool. That's why this kind of music is so awesome because there's so many bands in this style of music now. But I feel like listening to the new record, A Mind Designed to Destroy Beautiful Things, kind of
Hmm?
reminds me of early like Cavity, early Grief, a lot of kind of like Thrush. I'm definitely going to agree with the I Hate God side of things. And then the other band that I feel like people always forget about is Floor. They're a band from Florida. And you guys have a lot of that kind of early Floor sound too, before they kind of went more indie rock, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, I know the Cavity reference is going to make our drummer very, very happy. So he's always that's his like go-to band, I believe.
yeah, the first two records from Cavity have very much the similar kind of vibe of this new record. So I really dig it. And I'm gonna definitely say like Thrush from San Francisco. You
Oh,
guys kind
amazing band.
Yeah, you guys kind of mix that style of crusty kind of punk elements with the sludge, and I think that's what Youth Crush did so well as well too. Uh, so when you were making this new record, were you trying to mix those styles together, or did it just kind of happen?
It kind of happened. I mean, like we're Swedish, so crust punk is obviously a big
Sure.
influence. So, and me and one of the guitar players or the guitarist is we like all like mid 90s Swedish hardcore scene, like the
Hmm.
Refused era. We played in like two different bands, but we were in the same kind of clique.
Yeah,
So we would go way back, me and him. And
nice.
he ended up in Sludder because I met him drunk on my way home from a bar, and then we were looking for a guitar player, and he was on his way home, been jamming in another constellation, and I was like, "Please come and try and play with us because we need a guitar player." And he was like really hesitant, and then I finally he caved, and that's a good thing because that's when it
Nice.
started to take off and shape up.
Nice, nice. So you being the vocalist of the band, there was a couple of things I kind of want to talk about because I think your band has a unique style of vocals that doesn't always happen in sludge, which I really like. Um, and that's kind of more that crusty punk kind of snarl that you have from times where, yeah, at moments it's total Cavity, I hate God worship. I get it. Like you have to have those moments, all right.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like a lot of the times I hear like kind of like that bluesy punk kind of snarl going on in your vocals. Uh, do you try and mix those in a lot? Because I feel like when you're doing those certain areas of the song, it almost purposely feels like it should be
A funny story, like when we recorded the Mind album, I basically like freestyled all the lyrics. It's
Oh, wow.
mostly like one or two takes, and half of the time it's just like I improvised everything.
Nice.
And then we have this thing that we have our bass player is doing some of the vocals. If you listen really close, you can hear there's a difference
Yeah.
because he's doing like backup vocals and fill-ins, and the track Still No Friends.
Hmm.
It's just him. I'm not even on that.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I appreciate
So
it. Yeah. But so when you were kind of just freestyling and doing it, did you just take a listen and say, okay, this worked, let's move on to the next one? Or did you try and say, okay, sometimes, that one wasn't really good, let's do it again?
it's mostly the first takes on almost every track.
Gotcha.
It's just the vibe of the album is we did most of it live.
Hmm.
Like one guitar, bass, and drums are done in one take. Then we added the second guitar, and then I did the lyrics. It's, as the statement says, it's 19 hours
Nice.
from start to finish, and then we were done.
Okay.
Just try to keep it raw.
Yeah, yeah. You could definitely
And
feel the raw vibe in it. So
yeah, and if you go back and listen to our earlier releases, I have a completely different vocal style. Like the approach is more like hardcore, more like Black Flag screaming.
that's what I was going to talk about in a minute. So you kind of jumped into something I was
I'm
already.
sorry.
No, it's great. No, because it just brings us into that point. So we'll kind of talk about that now. So like when I listen to the self-titled record, I hear much more of the crust punk elements, and that's what I was going to talk about. I wanted to say, like, did you come from that perspective more, and then with the new record, kind of add more of that snarl, kind of crusty tones?
It was a natural progress in a way when we were working on the new songs. I was getting bored with the way I was singing
Mm,
or screaming or whatever I'm doing, and I was like, it basically started with the fact that I was like, I'm not going to pronounce the words anymore. I'm just going to like just sound them. I don't know.
gotcha. No, very cool. So I see the term misanthropic doom used with you guys a lot.
Yeah,
What does that mean to you?
I mean, like the state of the world right now.
Okay.
It's that's not that's not a lot of stuff to be like joyful about,
Right.
and we are misanthropes. I mean, like humanity is. I think it was late great Bill Hicks that said that we're a virus with shoes.
Yep.
Yeah, he got a point.
Absolutely. I totally
Yeah,
see where you're coming with.
and basically it's when it comes to like the Sludder stuff, it's most of the lyrics like evolve or revolve around death, depression. I used to live a pretty like decadent life before
Mm,
I got wise, so I have a lot of inspiration from yeah, basically a fucked up life.
gotcha. Um, if somebody was going to listen to the band for the very first time, how would you describe it to them?
Like a punch in the face.
Okay. And why like a punch in the face?
No, because it's we go straight for your throat. There's no intention of taking prisoners or anything. It's like pedal to the metal. Whatever happens, happens. And if you're still standing at the end of the record, good for you.
Cool. And I guess I'll jump here into that as well too. So if someone hears the record and sees you live, what are the differences between both?
Um, hardly any, actually, because we're one of those bands that we've been since we got like the foundation set with everything, we've been rehearsing like once a week continuously all through all these years. So if I don't like to like brag about stuff that we do, but it's like we're fucking tight live.
Nice. Well, that's what I was gonna ask, because the record sounds like it's just a band performance. It literally sounds like if I put the record on, you could almost play exactly to it. Like and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Like, you know, a lot of bands can't do that today. So
No, but that's what we were set out to accomplish with the record as well. And that's on the vinyl version. There's just side A and side B. There's
Yep.
4 songs on each side, but there's only 2 tracks on the album.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how you came to work with Majestic Mountain and get the vinyl release.
Marco that runs Majestic is he's been in the fringes of what we were doing for a long time, and we had some contact. And then when we had the subtitle one before, we had it like recorded and done,
mm-hmm.
and we had no label or anything, and I just sent it to Marco at Majestic and told him like just take a listen to it because I wanted some feedback. And he basically responded with, well, vinyl is kind of expensive, but I can put it out on tape. And so he released the self-titled one, 100 copies on tape, like the first Majestic Mountain tape release. And then here we are. Now we're doing it on vinyl on his label. He's a stand-up guy.
Nice. So I guess the next thing I'm going to kind of talk about is there's a couple of bands that are much older that I want to talk about and see if they're actually bands that are influences, because I hear them a lot throughout, especially the new record, not so much the previous record.
Go for it.
Okay, so St. Vitus and Cathedral. And the reason why I say that is the guitar tones at time remind me of early St. Vitus, like brutally remind me of St. Vitus. And then your vocals at time, I swear to God, you sound like Lee Dorian, like from Cathedral sometimes, just with with the bellows that you do.
That's really, really funny. I love Cathedral. It's like a band that I really, really love. And I have 4 kids, and the 2 youngest ones, their second name is Lee and Dorian. So when you put it together, it's Lee Dorian. So I appreciate that you made that connection, actually.
You can hear it. You literally can hear it, like especially like the earlier, like the first 2 or 3 Cathedral records, where they're not so stonery, where they're more kind of just traditional dirty doom. Like you have that vocal sound, man. It's very
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool indeed. So there's 2 songs that I kind of want to talk about off the new record that kind of drew me to it and make me want to talk to you about all this today.
Yeah.
So the very first one is Shitwalker. All right.
Yeah.
Like if there was a song that I would play and say, this is your band, if you guys like this, you're going to like the entire record, Shitwalker is the one. It kind of encompasses everything about the band to me from the 2 records I've heard. Can you kind of talk about that song and how it came about?
Oh yeah, please. It's basically it's 2 older songs mashed together into one new. We had one called Shit County on our very first demo, and then we had did an EP called Kapala, and then we had a song called Sleepwalker, and then we put shit and walk together, and then it turned out to be Shitwalker. It's basically a ode to where we're from in Sweden, the first part, and the second part is about my experiences when I was doing speed back in the day, when you doesn't sleep for a week. But yeah, I love that song. It's actually one of my absolute favorite songs that we ever done.
Yeah, it just encompasses the guitar tones, the drums, like everything. Like if you say sludge doom, it's what I expect to hear. So like I totally appreciate that song for that purpose. Um, the other song, which is probably my favorite song period from you as far as a band, is Still No Friends. And
Mm.
the reason why that is I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's the most beautifully ugly song I've ever heard in my life. All right, like it's got this like haunting melody, but it is so painfully driven the way it goes. It just it feels right to listen to it when you just need to have a moment of just stress release. So
Thank you. Yeah, that one is. We had this. We have an older song called "No Friends," and the riffs or the setup of the song is a bit similar. So we were like, "Still no friends. Let's go for it." And then we recorded it, and we turned our bass player loose on with the vocal side because he got a good pipe as well,
nice.
and he just went, I don't know, crazy.
Awesome. No, yeah, that song is just phenomenal. So I appreciate it. Like that's probably the song I listen to most on the record, just because it speaks to me as far as that song.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I kind of want. I know you're not playing. Are you playing any instruments, or are you just doing
No,
vocals?
no,
Okay,
I'm lazy. I'm lazy.
no, it's all good. So I love that you can tell that there's two distinct guitar players in this band. Okay. And I understand that you said you recorded the second guitar parts later, but it doesn't sound like that. It sounds kind of very cohesive. But one has a much cleaner tone, one has a much fuzzier tone. And I
Hmm.
kind of wanted to ask, like, is it hard to mix those two sounds together, especially live, to get what you want? Because they're so drastically different at times.
If I'm answering that question from my perspective or
Yeah.
my point, where I'm like, um, since I'm doing the vocals, I mostly listen to the drums actually when we
Okay.
play live. But um, no, I don't think we have any struggle with like, and for the mixing part on the recording stuff, if we had to ask the guy that recorded us if he had any trouble with it, but I think nah. But we have uh, we added a new guitar player, and he's only been with us for this release.
Mhm.
Uh, that's the fussy guy.
There you go.
Yeah, he's more of like a death metal head.
Yeah. Yeah,
So he brought.
you can hear that. That's what I was saying. Like one's much more distorted, one more is much of that kind of classic heavy rock tone.
Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, like they complement each other really good. It made adding another guitar player is made the layers so much better.
Nice. And then the other thing I want to talk about is the bass tone. So the great thing about this record, and I know you don't play it, but you hear it, and I'm sure you'll understand where I'm going at with this. Like it cuts through everything. Like it is
Hmm.
one of the few bands where, like, yeah, doom bands have a heavy bass line, but it's not just heavy; it's just massively full, and you can hear the arrange, like the notes that are being played. It's not. Yeah, I know you said you like playing sloppier, but it's not sloppy. It literally is just heavy and dense.
Yeah,
And was that done on purpose? Like, did you want that tone, or did he just kind of throw that in there?
that's we should have Martin, the bass player, here to answer that question. But it's like he doesn't play like traditional. He follows the guitars, and
Yeah.
he plays a bit like the late great Lemmy in a way. He
Yep.
treats the bass more like a guitar, and he has like I think it's 6 or 7 like different pedals, like effects and stuff. So and me personally, I think it's great that you have the opportunity to have like not just a regular bass line that goes just following the drums being the same old. That he's more like yeah, and yeah, I like his way, the way he plays. It's like I can rely on him as well. The drums and the bass is like that's where I anchor myself when we play live.
Yeah, it's such a steady rhythm. I can see what you're saying, like where you can anchor yourself on it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we have
Um,
our drummer. He needs his glory as well, because we refer to him as the metronome from time to time, because he's so steady.
yeah, I was going to talk about him next with you, so that's cool. I was going to say like it's the for drums again. It's and this is a really big compliment because some guys overplay so much that it becomes a mess. He is the simplest, most complex drummer I've heard. Like he makes sure when it's needed, those massive drums are there. But when they're not, he just keeps the beat and lets the band do its thing. And that's really important in this kind of music. So
I totally agree with you,
yeah, cool.
and
Yeah, like
that's his strength. That's the reason why I'm never gonna part ways with him. Whatever happened with Slodder, I'm gonna stick with him. Like
nice,
seriously, if we decide to hang up tomorrow and don't do anything more, I'm gonna start a new band with him.
nice. That's important. That's the bond you need. So very, very cool. Um, so kind of a deeper question, and I ask every band this because I just love to get kind of the feedback on your side of things. So let's say tomorrow's the last day the band exists. We all know it's going to be over. You've ran its course, and it's not because of infighting or anything like that. It's just it's time to move on and do this something different. Um, what do you as a band want to be remembered for?
As a great live band, actually, more
Okay.
than like records. We want people to walk away from our concerts with a, it sounds cheesy as fuck to say this, but like a memory for life in a way.
No,
Like,
yeah, no,
and we,
that's awesome. So like I said, in the live setting, is there any one song that you have to play every set? And if you don't, you're frustrated.
uh, no, not really, but we've been sticking. We have like a couple of songs that we always play. Shitwalker is one. Then we have from the the self-titled release, we have one called Nosebleed
Hmm.
that we usually always play. And then in between there, we can actually mix it up a bit, and that's a nice freedom to have in a way, that you don't feel stuck to like we have to play this. If you're gonna go back to like, since I already mentioned Lemmy,
Yeah.
I mean, like, imagine being in a band like Motorhead and you have to play fucking Ace of Spades every single time you perform. You hate the song, but everybody else loves it. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to end up there.
Perfect. No, that's awesome. That's a great analogy. Um, if there was one band that you could collaborate with and like do a song together with an artist, a band, I don't care, who would it be and why?
I can give you two answers to that. If
Perfect.
we had a chance to do be like with an artist, imagine doing a track with Tom Waits,
Nice.
and with a band, it would be. I would love to do something with uh, Iron Monkey before the late great Johnny Morrow passed,
Sure.
like the first version of that band.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
I
we
totally get
had
and
we had this thing. We were actually talking with Mid Mourner about doing a split, and
mhm.
then communication was like sparse to be. And then all of a sudden they decided to go in a hiatus, so they took a break.
Mhm.
So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but hopefully somebody that listens to this, that knows someone who knows someone who knows those guys, that just poke them and tell them that we still want to do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, totally cool. And do you want Tom Waits to do it because of that gruff kind of husky voice? Or do
Yeah,
you want to or
and
you want to do it because he's like he is the closest thing you can get to doom metal without being doom metal.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, like, and he's still alive. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I lost my spirit animal yesterday when Shane McGowan from the
Oh,
Pose passed. So no, but it would be awesome, and it would be so weird to do it with a guy like him. Like, seriously.
very cool. No, definitely. I think that would be fantastic to hear. Um, if if you had the opportunity to re-record any parts of this new record, would you, or are you just happy with the live
No, I
presentation of
wouldn't.
the
I
record?
wouldn't touch it. Never. I'm so satisfied with the way
Nice.
it came out.
What is one feedback or review that you've gotten that has completely blown you away so far
Oh,
for
there
the
was
new?
this Swedish review that was really, it made me laugh, but in a good
Okay.
way. I mean, like, he was like, sometimes music hurts, but I mean this in the best way possible.
That's
I like that one. It was
that's
really nice.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, that's honesty, man. You moved them so much, you moved them to pain, but like this kind of music, pain's a blessing sometimes, man.
yeah,
It
yeah,
really
yeah.
is. No, I'm completely with you.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, like, it's broken music for broken souls.
Right. So I know you said that you love I Hate God. I think we have a mutual love of this. I've literally seen them, I don't know, 25, 26 times. I have talked with Mike a dozen times. Done a few interviews with him for the zine as well too. A few of the other band members too. Uh, why do you think that band is so huge in the scene that we love, but they never broke bigger?
The Godfathers, the
Yeah,
inventors, like they're the alpha and the omega in a way. So we wouldn't be here talking if it wasn't for I Hate God.
right.
Quite simple. And the way it is now, I think it's turning for them. If you see, they've been touring relentlessly,
Yeah,
and they've been doing some quite big like gigs and stuff. So I think they're gonna have their moment anytime, like really close.
yeah.
But
Every time I see them, it's packed venues, but it's always smaller venues. I was just always like, for with your thought, do you think it's just this is not the most accessible music, or is it just this kind of
but
music scares the most common people?
it's definitely not for everyone.
Yeah,
No, it's not. I mean, like, and that's the beauty of this scene as well, because you have like people who like this type of music is so dedicated to it, so you get like a really good close knit scene. We have the same thing in Sweden as well. I mean, like, um, I Hate God plays. There's 300 people there,
yeah,
and the next day you have, I don't know, Dragon Force playing, and it's like 5,000 people.
right.
And no offense to anyone, but power metal is the fucking dumbest type of music that exists after disco. It's like,
Yeah, it is a bit over the top. I'm not gonna say it's not.
no,
Um,
it's.
yeah,
I mean, like, I have this thing when you can dislike bands, but you always. I have this like for myself. It's like always respect the craft. If
yeah,
you know that they're good at what they're doing, respect that, and just be happy with the fact that you don't like it.
yeah. No, fair, very fair.
Yeah, I fucking there's the thing that's destroying so many moments. It's like the gatekeeper mentality of
Oh,
music. I fucking hate it.
yeah, I hate when people nitpick on the stupidest shit, and that's the
But it's like
I agree with you.
the funniest thing is like my girlfriend went to a bar, had a T-shirt with Sludder on it,
Hmm.
and somebody like checked her on the T-shirt, and she was like, I'm living with the singer. I mean, like, leave me alone.
Wow, that's good. That's good. So on to the next question. Let's
Shoot.
say, yeah, let's say you
Oh, that's
guys
my
could go. Oh, that's awesome. The cat's more than welcome. Let's say that you can go back in time, and when the band first started, you can give them any suggestion, any pointers that you want to give them. What would you give your early self back then to either help out or help with the growth of the band?
oh, tough question. I would probably be like, oh God, this is a tough question, but I mean, like, no, seriously, don't change anything.
Cool. So
Just go for it.
yep, you're happy with everything that started from day one and moved forward. It's all gone in a good direction. That's fine.
Yeah, I actually love the way we have progressed and the journey it has been getting to where we are now. We had our ups and downs. Um, we had, like, when the COVID hit and everything shut down. The summer before that, we did a gig with Weed Eater
Mm-hmm.
in Sweden as the opening band, and probably, to be like, real, we were probably one of the few bands on their European tour that year that actually went toe to toe when it came to the drinking shit. So we had a after party that was insane.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was talking to the German tour manager, and he was like, "They're coming back next year. You interested?" And we were like, "But of course."
Very
And
cool.
then everything shut down because of the COVID.
Oh.
So, and it just went to shit from there. So we had a year, and that's when we recorded the release before this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Sweden you have this uh, beautiful thing that you get really cheap, like rehearsal spaces and studio time and stuff
Sure.
through the government, in a way. Like, it's a government funded national program. So we were told, like, because of the COVID you can't rehearse because it's and stuff like that. But we, of course, rehearsed anyway. It's like we took our chances.
Sure.
And then we recorded this stuff, and then everything went to a, like, it just grinded down to a halt, in a way. I mean, like, venues weren't booking, and nowadays people are more picky on where, if they want to spend money on a gig or on a record or whatever. It's like we haven't come back to where we were before the pandemic. So the live scene is still there, but it's smaller than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
People are not buying as much records as they used to do. And right now the economy in Sweden is shot to shit as well. So people are more picky what they spend their money on. So I don't even know where I was going with this. Like,
No, that's fair. That's absolutely, and it's around the world. Trust me. In the U.S.
yeah.
here, it's no different. Like money is much tighter now
Hmm.
than it was even 2 years ago. Like it's just the way it is. I totally get it. But you know what? Good music seems to still get picked up and bought, and people like so. That's the great thing about it. Uh, you know, good music will always get heard, and I think that's the most important thing. So.
Yeah, and for us it's like a do or die thing. Basically, with, at least for me in Sludder, it's like I don't even know what the fuck I would do
Uh,
with myself if I didn't have the band, because it saved me so much money that I would spend on some psychiatrist or something otherwise.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So I got a couple more questions for you, and then I'll let you go. But
Yeah, it's okay. I
cool,
got all night.
cool. So I want to talk about the album cover because
Hmm.
it's one of the most disturbing goddamn things I've ever seen in my life, and I can't make heads or tails of it. So talk to me about how the album cover fits with the music and why you use that image.
Here, basically, we have this friend of ours who's a tattoo artist, and he's a really talented artist overall. Like he's done a lot of posters for gigs and previous album covers for other bands and stuff. So we reached out to him, and since he's a buddy, he knows what type of people we are. So basically, the cover is a moose skull fused with a human skull.
Okay.
With and I think he did it digitally. I'm not. Yeah, he did. But it's like he knows what we're about. So we just asked him to do like a cover that fits us in a way, and I think he did a great job.
No, it's cool. It's different. That's why I was asking. It's disturbing like you are, but yet like there's this like mysterious element to it. And I feel like the band has that too. And I kind of wanted to kind of talk about that for a minute too. You kind of throw these weird punches in throughout the entire record. Like it's not always just sludge, it's not always just doom. There's sometimes straight out just punk elements. There are sometimes, I'm gonna say, just bluesy elements going on, like straight out blues riffs, like old school blues. So when you're throwing that stuff in, is it to educate the kids about like really good other styles of music, that like where this all came from, or is it just your love of those styles of music?
More the love. Fuck the kids, man. They can teach themselves. But seriously, it just happens in a way.
Okay, no, that's fair. Yeah, I'm an old guy too, and I just watched these kids today, like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do metal band or I'm gonna sludge metal band," and they're literally just painting the numbers of like what everybody's done before. I love that you bring in those old influences. I love that you bring in those 70s, 80s, and 90s vibes of what we would call doom metal. So good.
Yeah, we actually tried really hard not to turn out to like Swedish sludge. It's more like like Cult of Luna, the Roses influenced. We try to stay away from that because it's not us.
Yeah.
Like we're from a part of Sweden that is as close as you can get to like the south of the US.
Gotcha.
We're located in the middle of Sweden, but we have a delta. We have a lot of musicians, and we have a lot of rednecks, like really fucked up bush people.
Gotcha.
No offense to the southern parts of the US, but it's like we're fucking hillbillies over here as well.
Hey, I live in Texas, man. You don't have to say anything, all right? I completely understand the mentality. But you know what? Some of those are the most genuinely beautiful people on this planet, and that's all I gotta say. Like they may be crazy, they may be crazy, but they're genuinely good human beings.
I'm so proud of the part of Sweden that I'm from. It's like I don't give a fuck about the rest of Sweden. We actually have this thing that we joke about, that we should like separate ourselves from Sweden and be like a small state between Norway and Sweden and just do our thing. Because it's called Värmland, and it's the fucking heart of Sweden. It doesn't get any better.
Nice. That's very cool. So what I'm going to do is, for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to kind of give you the floor, talk about what's going on with the band, shows, any new releases outside of the new album. Just talk about what you got going on.
Yeah, we're going to do. This is, since you're based in the US, but we got some shows in Sweden lined up. It's going to be some live gigs. Since none of them are like basically official yet.
Okay, got you.
But they're booked. Now then we're working on new material, because we're a fast working band as well. since we always rehearse. So and for us, the new release is already like a year and a half old. So we recorded it and then we started work on new materials. So we got plenty of new stuff on our way, or working on it. And then and unfortunately the mid-Warner split doesn't seem to happen. Breaks my heart, but that's just the way it is.
Sure.
So we're probably gonna like there's gonna be an EP or something else. We have some Swedish bands that we're thinking about doing some splits with as well. Always they're relevant, always like, yeah, we're always working. So I don't know, man. We're here. We just released an album and trying to get some attention.
Well, I think you are. Like I said, I think this record is getting some good word, good, you know.
Yeah, the reviews has actually for us been humbling, because we took a gamble on the way we released it, since it's as I said, it's just 2 tracks on the vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been nothing but positive feedback. I mean, like, I think the most negative review or like sentence in the review we got so far is like, I wish the mixing could have been better or something. The guy didn't like the mixing of the album, but he enjoyed it as a product.
Nice. Hey, if that's the worst thing you get, who goddamn cares? Like, that's fine. Like, yeah,
I couldn't care less.
Yeah,
Trust me.
So the last question I always ask bands, and it's the same last question I ask everybody. I just kind of want to see what your thought would be. So let's say you could take any one of your songs and ask somebody to re-record it and make it their own. Which song and what artist would you do that with?
Oh, that's a good question, man. And actually, it's shit that I think of every day. So you had this amazing country artist in the States, Blaze Foley.
Yeah.
I would love for him to do Shitwalker.
Nice.
Seriously, I mean, like, he's probably the most one of my top 3 like things that I go to listen. It's so sad that he didn't get like any proper releases out. He has one album that is just like botched together. And
well,
then
that's the problem with Outlaw Country, is it literally it doesn't get the push it deserves.
Yeah, so. I'm such a fan of like Waylon Jennings.
Yeah.
I'm a seriously like country. It's my jam.
Nice.
I love it. I have this thing with like, I can listen to it and I can laugh at it at the same time, and then I can take it really seriously, because it's like wrestling, man. Country is like wrestling.
You're speaking my language, man. This is a
so
diehard.
I mean, like all the characters and all the stories and everything. It's a beautiful thing.
I'm a diehard wrestling fan for the last 35 years of my life, so I totally know where you're going with it.
Oh, this is the thing we did. Like, when I grew up in Sweden, we didn't have like, wrestling was like something you watched on Saturday mornings on satellite, but it was fucking like going to church when you were a kid. You were sitting there with your cereals and be like, oh man, Ultimate Warrior, man, I want to be like him.
Oh yeah, no, completely. No, so like I said, Henrik, thank you for doing this so much. I really appreciate you taking some time speaking with me and kind of just shooting the shit about music and your band. So
no worries, man. I can do it all day.
Cool. Like I said, if you ever do come to the US, I know that's a big, tall order. Let me know, because I'd love to be able to see you live, because again, your new record, one of my favorite things of 2023. That's why I wanted to talk to you. I don't do a lot of reviews, or sorry, I don't do a lot of interviews, but I purposely wanted to do an interview before the year's end with you guys because of this record.
Yeah, but it's so appreciated. Like, seriously. And there's this other thing with Sludder as well, that we're no different from the people that listen to us in a way. I mean, like I don't even change clothes when I'm playing live. It's like whatever I'm wearing when I wake up when we have a gig, that's the way I'm gonna look when we play. And then you can catch me in the bar when we're done.
Nice.
Probably catch me in the bar while we're playing and before we're playing as well. So,
Sounds like a plan.
yeah.
But again, thank you so very much for doing this. Clint from the Doorway too, hanging out with Henrik.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, and like I said, keep doing it. You keep making music like this. I'm gonna keep listening. So
Thank you.
yep, you have a great day. Thank you, man.
Same.